New video is sparking even more outrage over the group of migrants accused of attacking two New York City police officers. That's what you're looking at on the left hand of your screen. Those guys were freed without bail. And now look at this. Here's one suspect flipping the bird to the cameras. He could care less. Another blows kisses as he smiles and laughs. The other suspect next to him also putting up the middle fingers and cursing at those reporters. Remorseless, brazen, smug.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. The People's Republic of New York City is doomed. Now, I don't like saying that because I was born in New York, I was raised in New York, I got my education there. It's my home for the majority of my life, the great majority of my life. But I left because I saw the writing of the wall many years ago of this decline. And frankly, while I'm heartbroken to see it, I do have to point out that this is a monster of their own making. The progressive policies that people in the People's Republic of New York City have voted for over and over and over again have led to this tipping point. And we're seeing many prominent people who have been proudly progressive feeling that schadenfreude now, feeling that instant regret. And frankly, I'm here for it, but again, it breaks my heart to see it. We're going to break down everything that I'm kind of alluding to here, but before I do, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all of that feeds that YouTube algorithm.
You feed it.
Thank you guys so much for all that you're doing and getting the word out about the channel to many different people. It's working. And for all you newbies out there who may have stumbled across us, I hope that this video earns your subscription as we talk about all the craziness happening in the People's Republic of New York City that really, when it comes down to it, is a monster of progressive making. And we're seeing many prominent progressives, especially celebrities, these justice warriors who are celebrities, feeling the regret of what they chose to support. There's a whole lot of schadenfreude to go around, and we're going to get into it right now. Instead of me explaining what happened outside of a migrant center in Times Square to two NYPD officers, let's go to CBS 2 News to give you the most updated information about this incident.
In Manhattan, we do not tolerate or accept assaults on police officers. I watched the tape this week. Despicable behavior. It sickened me and outraged me.
That from Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg Friday afternoon, nearly a week after two members of the NYPD were attacked by a group of men as they attempted to break up a disorderly crowd outside of a city migrant shelter in Times Square. Officials say most of them are migrants.
In a court of law, and our profound obligation is to make sure we have the right people charged with the right crimes. I don't think any New Yorker wants us to charge the wrong person. 7 of the alleged attackers have been arrested and charged with assaulting an officer. Only one is being held on Rikers. Officials say the others were released without bail.
Now that sort of betrays what Alvin Bragg was trying to say in that press conference. He understands his job. He was sickened by what you're seeing on the screen right now, but he was not so sickened to keep these people in jail pending a trial. Are you kidding me? These migrants, or excuse me, alleged migrants, however you want to put it, that perpetrated this attack that you see in video, they're out there now. Who knows where they are? They're out there, and there was no bail requirement for them to be let out of jail. That should sicken you. Alvin Bragg is not disgusted by this. He's not sickened by this behavior. He's condoning this behavior by allowing these alleged offenders back out on the street with no way to guarantee that these migrants, this transient population, is going to show up in a month or whatever for the next court appearance. How is he doing his job and being mindful of doing his job if he just allows this to happen?
Police sources tell CBS 2 4 of the men who were released may have left the city.
There you go. Half of them have already fled. Do you think they're coming back to New York City? Really? Come on. This is why bail is necessary for these violent crimes, to guarantee the appearance of these people or to be able to get them and throw them back in jail. This is the height of progressive criminal justice reform that you're seeing right now run amok. These are the policies that New Yorkers voted for, apparently, when they voted in Alvin Bragg. You can't be upset by this, New York City, because this is what you asked for.
It's unclear where they're headed and if they will return for their next court date later this month.
My number one priority is protecting the people of this state.
So why should we believe you?
Here comes some more lip service now from Kathy Hochul. If that's true, then what are you doing to stop things like this from happening? Where are your directives to your state attorneys, your district attorneys, to tell them to be hard on crime?
And anytime there's an assault on a police officer, which is a very serious offense, it is bail eligible and bail should be sought.
A bail should have been set on those individuals. It was a serious felony and bail should have been set. Why it was not set, I do not know.
Another county heard from with Letitia James, so busy prosecuting Donald Trump over real estate transactions that she kept her eye off the ball, apparently, with Alvin Bragg doing this. You know, this lip service is all well and good, but it's clear that these people are in office because they support progressive policies, and progressive voters in New York City are allowing this to happen. And they're being lied right to their face by these people that they voted in when they're looking for accountability.
There's mounting criticism from elected officials, including the governor and the NYPD. Top brass saying this is another bad example of bail reform.
My response is that we have an obligation in the court of law to prosecute the right people with the right charges. That's what we're doing here. We have more information now than we had on Saturday. I predict we'll have more in a few days than we have now.
And what's that got to do with bail reform and letting these people out with no bail? To be clear, this was a violent crime. Even during the height of New York City's bail reform and New York State's bail reform measures in the legislature, violent crimes were always bail eligible. I don't understand what his response is here. It's just more lip service that says absolutely nothing.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Global bullshit. I call bullshit.
Now, many New Yorkers are enraged by what's going on with this particular case, including that loudmouth Michael Rapaport, who has supported every progressive policy nationally and locally. And he had the balls to try to demonetize my channel. So I want to go back and see what he's saying now about this particular case, as you'd expect from the previous video, which, by the way, I'm going to put in the upper right-hand corner right now, where he was talking about Donald Trump being on the table again for him because of national policies involving Israel and Palestine. Let's see what he says now when this is coming closer to home with these migrants attacking NYPD officers. Okay, here we go again with this buffoon.
This is why when I say voting for pig Donald Trump is on the table, voting for pig Donald Trump is on the table. The other day in New York City, 6 illegal aliens jumped a New York City cop.
Illegal aliens? He's using the lingo. Oh my goodness. They're not migrants, Michael? They're not undocumented people? What's going on here? Are you red-pilled? Are you shook? Because now your progressive policies that you supported for so long, they're coming home to roost? Let's continue on.
NYPD's finest. They jumped a New York City cop in Times Square and were arrested and released without bail. I know it's a city thing. I know it's a state thing. I know all that. I know all that. I know all that.
Oh, you do you?
Okay? Stay with me. Released without bail. Came out of the courtroom on some Tupac raising the middle finger with the Detroit Red Wings jersey. Let me tell you something. What the is the world coming to? If you could be from another country, beat up a cop in New York City and walk out with no bail, what the is the world coming to? What the is the world coming to? I know, Mayor Adams, you're from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I know this. Like, what the have I gotten myself into? Stay with me. On the same day that that happens, cadaver Joe Biden issues an executive order about 4 quote-unquote settlers in Judea, Samaria, aka the West Bank. Some troublemakers, 3 of the 4 have already been arrested. You issue an executive order about 4 troublemaking ups who've already been arrested in Judea, Samaria, while there's a war going on, while there's 100 plus hostages still being held in Gaza. You're talking about that, but you got nothing to say about beating up cops in New York City, the greatest city on earth. Maybe it's not. Maybe my city is not the greatest city on earth anymore.
Yeah, and maybe it's because of you and people like you who keep voting for these measures, these progressive measures that make everybody unsafe. Maybe that's the problem, Michael. Maybe you're the problem. Or maybe you're just dumb and you didn't foresee the consequences of your actions that we've been talking about for years now. This sanctuary city stuff that started back in the 80s under Ed Koch and was reaffirmed under the Trump administration in response to Donald Trump, that you hate and you call names all the time. And the name calling doesn't bother me, but you're out there being so loud against Donald Trump that you swung the pendulum so far to the left, and now you're having to live with the consequences of it. Maybe next time you should think before you speak, dumbass.
If you could beat up cops, if you could beat up cops in the quote-unquote greatest city in the world and be released without bail, are we the greatest city on earth? Cadaver Joe Biden, we see you. We see you. Don't worry about those in Israel. Bibi got them. Israel will take care of them. Worry about cops getting beat up in Times Square and walking out with no bail like the Tupac Shakur. Worry about that shit. This is why voting for pig Donald Trump is still on the table.
Michael Rapaport, eloquent as ever, right?
You kiss your mother with that mouth?
But even in the face of this news, New York City still hasn't learned, because as you'll see after the break, while all this is going on, the city is still incentivizing migrants coming to New York with a brand new policy where migrants are getting free money. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. While all this is happening in Times Square and the fallout of Alvin Bragg's decision not to get bail for these violent offenders, these violent migrants, Eric Adams, in all his wisdom, is now giving free money to migrant families instead of just giving them non-perishable food that they've been doing for so long. Let's listen to the Fox affiliate from New York City about this story.
Some migrant families will soon be given prepaid credit cards to buy food and baby supplies. The mayor's office says the city is partnering with Mobility Capital Finance to launch a more cost-effective program. Right now, the city has contracts with food services who provide non-perishable food boxes to shelters. They will start with 500 migrant families with children in short-term hotel stays. The cards can only be used at bodegas, grocery stores, supermarkets, and convenience stores.
And if you believe that that's what's going to actually happen, I got this bridge for sale that goes between Brooklyn and Manhattan. Maybe you'd be interested in it. Let me explain to you how these cards can be converted into cash very easily. So a migrant would walk into a bodega, what we call a corner store here in New York, and they would go to the bodega owner and say, "Can you give me cash? I'll let you charge it off my debit card that I'm only supposed to be using for food. You ring it up as food, quote unquote, and then just give me the cash back and you can take a fee from that." And the bodega owner, who's getting free money without having to sell anything, would then be able to do that. We saw a lot of this when it came to the paper food stamps that were around earlier in my lifetime, like in the 80s and the 90s, where they would trade food stamps for money and they would pay a nominal fee for the conversion of it. If you don't think that that's not going to happen here, like I said, that bridge is still available for you.
Giving this migrant population more free stuff at the expense of New York City taxpayers.
In a statement, the mayor's office says, in part, quote, not only will this provide families with the ability to purchase fresh food of their culturally relevant diets and the baby supplies of their choosing, but the pilot program is expected to save New York City more than $600,000 per month or more than $7.2 million annually.
Culturally relevant diet. Jeez, somebody make it make sense already. Culturally relevant diet, that's the priority here? It's not that these people are going to be given free money to exchange and try to do whatever they want with? Eric Adams is completely... I don't even have a word for it. I can't say, I guess colossally stupid, colossally naive if he thinks that all this money is going to go to food and diapers. Man, and this is what people vote for. This is what New York City residents voted for. Again, this is your own fault for doing this.
I'm not going to be thankful that a program that was bloated and inefficient is somehow cheaper to just give away free money to people in the hopes that they feed themselves.
According to the New York Post, this pilot program will cost the city $53 million. The amount loaded on the card will depend on the family size.
Unbelievable. Now, again, in reaction to this story, we have another celebrity justice warrior chiming in saying that, maybe we got this wrong this time as well. So 50 Cent, the rapper, he reacted to this news on Instagram, I think it was. This is a video from the New York Post with 50 Cent saying, WTF, Mayor Adams, call my phone. I don't understand how this works. Somebody explain, at Ari Melber, who's on MSDNC. Ari Melber can't explain this. I'm stuck. Maybe Trump is the answer. So here we go again with the Schadenfreude, folks. All these people that supported progressive policies across the nation, especially in places like the People's Republic of New York City, they're finally coming around when they're left with the sticker shock. They're left with the receipts. They're left with the results of what voting for all these progressives actually means.
And now it seems his chickens have come home to roost.
NYC is going down in a blaze of their own making, folks. Now, 50 Cent, of course, being an influencer, he got some other responses from his people that follow him, like this one here from Hard Knocks. Mind-blowing. How about all the Americans in poverty in NYC, people living in the projects, etc.? This is a great point. What about that single mother with 2 kids who's just making it, that needs the assistance that migrants are just getting by virtue of just showing up on the doorstep? Are those people being affected? Of course they are. The price of goods have gone up for everyone thanks to liberal policies from Joe Biden, and we're seeing those families struggling. And God forbid we help out homeless veterans, or we help out indigent veterans who live in New York City who need assistance like this as well. What about those people? Why aren't they being allowed to stay in hotels? Why aren't they allowed to get non-perishable food delivered to them? And why aren't they getting debit cards as well? This is a great point that this person's making. Here's another one from Lamar. Hey, Lamar, how you doing? Trump was always the answer, and that might be rubbing in the face of people like 50 Cent and others who see these policies. And finally, JP from PG.
Who and what now?
Everyone in the world gets relief from America but Americans. And that's a great point as well. Again, the Schadenfreude here from progressives, from both sides of the aisle here in response to what 50 Cent said, what that buffoon Michael Rapaport was saying. In seeing these policies in New York City, it's delicious to see if you're a partisan, but someone like me who loves New York City, even though I call it the People's Republic of New York City, it's very sad to see this downfall and decline that was so apparent for so many years, and it couldn't have been stopped. See this right here? This, my dear New York City voters, is what you get for supporting progressive policies from progressive buffoons that you then vote into office. You're getting the double bird right in your face because you didn't protect your own resources for residents of New York City that need it. And now you're shocked and amazed, like Michael Rapaport, like 50 Cent, that all of this is going on. How could this have been foreseen? It's been foreseen for decades. The fact that you're waking up to it now when it's probably too late is a testament to how much of the wool was pulled over your eyes by progressive talking points by these buffoons in office. They pulled at your heartstrings, saying that everyone should have a right to shelter. We have room for all, and that was great when we were talking about citizens of the People's Republic of New York City. But now that it's applied to everyone, oh, we got to halt the brakes. We got Michael Rapaport being red-pilled, apparently. I don't think he is, but he's talking like that, using the phrases like illegal immigrants instead of undocumented migrants and things like that. And you're wondering, how can NYPD officers be assaulted and then people who are not from this country are just let out on bail, probably never to be seen from again? You reap what you sow in this world, and in politics is no different. I'm heartbroken to see what's happening to my childhood home, but to the people who are there that made me move out, that made me seek greener pastures in a Republican-controlled county, still in New York, but Republican-controlled, I don't have that much sympathy for, because you stayed there for the decline, you were a part of the decline, you hastened it by putting in even further left progressive people who put in criminal justice reforms that led you to this, and now your money is being given to somebody else for free to buy groceries, wink wink, when we all know that that money, it's most likely not going that way. So enjoy, voters of New York City. You reap what you sow. But listen, that's just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think about all this. Please like and share the video. Leave us a comment below with your thoughts about all this. And please, as always, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Let's talk about this issue. Are you with me on this? Does New York City deserve to reap what they sow here? Should the government bail them out? Should Biden step in and bail them out? And what about how this is going to affect the election? Do you think that New York is in play right now? Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this and any other shenanigans and buffoonery that you want to talk about that's happening every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.